Hello and welcome to this NivTut on macros. This is going to be a real beginner's guide to macros, so if you're an advanced player there's not really going to be much in this video that's of any use to you whatsoever. So really I'm going to assume that you know nothing about macros. So to start by just press enter and then type /macro. Yeah, I've already got some macros on this character as well as all my general macros that are for everything. Icons not showing up because their corresponding abilities aren't on this character, as they're probably for my main. But yeah, these macros, they really help and they're really easy to set up. But lots of players don't make use of the macro feature, as there are some rules on external macros, which I think scare a couple of players as they don't want to get banned. But anything you can do within the Blizzard macro interface is allowed within game. So yeah, that's cool. So what I've got for these macros here, I don't need that one anymore because I just dinged level 30 or whatever a while ago, so now I've got Call of the Elements, but I was using that before, and that's a cast sequence macro. So what that does is I press the button once, excuse me, and then the second time I press it, it does the second thing. So first time it does Strength of the Earth Totem, second time it would do Flame Tongue Totem, then Healing Stream Totem. What I could have done is you can add in on cast sequence macros just a little thing like, I think it's brackets, reset equals 10. And that there would mean that after 10 seconds, say I use Strength of Earth Totem, then I don't press it for another 15 seconds. When I next go to press it, it'll recast Strength of Earth Totem because it's been more than 10 seconds since I last used that macro. These macros here, they're because I'm a healer, I have to set the tank as my focus, and then these buttons here, when I press them, they just heal the tank, which is quite cool. So show tooltip, that shows the tooltip as you'd expect really, so just labels it Earth Shield. Then it casts at my focus. You can set that to at target, which is target of target, and then you've got some options to set it as like friendly mobs or enemy mobs only, or alive or dead. There's really loads of possibilities with this macro interface. and yeah, so when I press that, it casts at my focus, and all the rest do that as well. So for melee, what I'd recommend is macroing for your abilities to a macro that starts with /. In fact, I'll just make one right here. So this would be for a warrior, who I believe, if you like, with a warrior, if you cast Heroic Strike on a mob, it won't actually start doing your auto attack damage. So you need to do / start attack. That was changed recently. Before you could just do attack, and then you do something like cast Heroic Strike. And that would mean that when you cast Heroic Strike, you'd also start white damaging your target as well. So yeah, I recommend that for melee. And some people like to macro things to say things at the same time. So the way you do that is just by, as you would normally, anything you type in here in the chat window can actually go straight into your macro window as well. So if you wanted to say in party chat, I'm bubbled or something, when you cast your bubble on your Paladin, that is perfectly achievable. All you do is cast the ability, what is it called? Hand of Protection. I'm just gonna say it's that. Not a brilliant Paladin player myself, so I'm just gonna say it's cast Hand of Protection at my focus target, which goes before. God, these things are so complicated. At my focus, Hand of Protection, and then I'd want it to say in the raid group. Then you do the %, think another name there, target, and that would mean that the target, actually it would be F because it's your focus, So that basically there inserts the name of the person that the ability is getting done on. If it's focus, if it's just your target, you just do T, or your focus do F. So that would say that my focus, so that would insert their name there, is now bubbled. And then when you press that, it would do hand of protection on your target and say that bubbled at the same time, which means everyone can know. So that's a really good use for macros. I do things like that. And also you can macro pretty much anything on your UI to be a clickable button macro, as I've got things like here. This one, not a very good example, but it's good for Warmaster Blackhorn because I'm in charge of generally stopping the sappers from getting there. So all I need to do is just spam this button, which is bound to my mouse. I've got a Razor Naga. If you know one of those is, you'll understand. So I just spam that button and then it targets it for me. I get some combo points on, press it again, boom, it's stunned. You can macro, if abilities aren't on the global cooldown, you can macro them together. Because Cloak of Shadows and Vanish aren't on the global cooldown, I can just whack that button and then it uses both abilities, which basically means I just disappear from anything regardless of the current situation, which is pretty damn nice. That's a Tricks of the Trade macro. Another useless macro. You can also do console things. So what this does is just, if my graphics are messing up a bit, I'll just set them to the absolute max values there. Macros are great for that. It saves you typing that in every single time. Yeah, this macro doesn't actually seem to work, but you can do things like that. So basically, what that should do, don't copy this because it doesn't work. I think it must have been updated or something. You just click that button, and then it would put the skull thing onto your target, which probably can't do it. Yeah, you can. So basically, that is just a shortcut for going on this, and then that. And obviously pressing that button is really useful, as saves a lot of time. That's really the main thing that macros are for. This is a good one, as on Ultraxion, which is a level, a Dragon Soul boss, if you're not aware. Yeah, there's a little button that appears in the middle of the screen right here, and you have to click it, and clicking is, well, I suppose clicking's alright, but not many good players will thank you if you tell them that you're clicking when you're playing with them, as yeah, reaction times are going to be a lot slower when you're moving your mouse around trying to find the ability. All that much more widely accepted as the better way to play is by using the keyboard or mouse bindings. So what this one does is just clicks that button on the middle of your screen as it's a click, but you can just drag it to your bar, and then when you press 8 as opposed to clicking it, it would do it. So that's actually really good. You can find loads and loads of macro tips on websites like Wowhead and WowWiki. I'll leave you a link to those in the description, as they're really good macro websites. Personally, I use macros pretty much all the time when I am mounting, and this is probably one of my most complex macros. So I'll just read you through what this one does. This is just one example of what macros can really do and how they help. So this will use, as long as the area I'm in is flyable, as in not an instance or a raid or anything like that, just outside. If it's a flyable instance, I'm somewhere I can fly, I'm not mounted, and I'm currently pressing Shift, then it will use my Traveler's Tundra Mammoth. If I'm not pressing Shift, it will use the Corrupted Firehawk. So basically, that's helpful because then I can just, if I want my repair mount out, I can do that. It summons the repair mount. If I'm not pressing anything else, it summons my normal flying mount. If the area isn't flyable, I'm not mounted, and I'm pressing Control, it will summon my Traveler's Tundra Mammoth. And if I'm not pressing Control, it will summon my Meccano Hog. And if I'm not flying and I'm mounted, then I'll dismount. And if I am flying and I am mounted, but I'm also pressing Alt, then I'll dismount. So basically this just stops me from dismounting in the middle of the air and dying and falling to my doom, which has happened. And also you can just simply use macros to spam. Don't spam, it's bad. No spamming. Definitely no spamming going on here. General chat, or trade chat or anything like that. It just really makes everything a lot simpler. So if you've got any requests for specific macros, leave them in the comments. I'll try and get back to you. Any other uses for macros off the top of my head? Yeah, you can actually use macros to use things like trinkets or even bag slots. Basically, this main bag here, that's bag 0, that's bag 1, that's bag 2, that's bag 3, that's bag 4. Really doesn't help that I've got this bag none add-on to show you that, but basically, that's the first one's bag 0, and then this would be slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slot 4, slot 5, slot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, so on, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But this add-on just sort of combines them all together. So if you work out what slot your item is in, then you can macro it to a certain slot. So a good example of that would be a macro for say like feeding your hunter pet, although you don't have to do that anymore. So basically what you would have done is you would have done cast feed pet, and then use the item, and then you'd put your pet food in your first slot, which would be this, which is where I always keep my Hearthstone. But if you're a hunter, you'd put your pet food in the first slot, or just change the macro to be like the second one or something. And then you just enter the bag number, in which case 0, which would be the main bag, and then the slot number. And then that would use whatever food is in that slot. So that's really good if you often change out the food or things like that. And also you can macro trinkets. Trinkets are these, and often later in the game your trinkets will have use effects that are really good, especially PvP trinkets. And you really do not want to have to go into your bloody character panel and click these while you're fighting. You can just drag them out to your action bar. As you see, they come out green there, but then you can't really use anything with them, so you can just macro them in. If I just find this, where is it? What is it? I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's slot 15, and that is slot 16, 17, 18, 19. So slot 15 and 16, you just macro those two. If you don't enter a bag number, i.e. 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe it just goes straight to your item slots. So that's really cool. Then you can macro things like use your freedom of the horde or alliance if you're a noob. Trinkets, jokes, alliance are okay. I don't mind anyone as long as they're not an idiot. That's fine. So yeah, then you can macro like Will of the Forsaken and your freedom trinket into one thing so that it just spams you and gets you out of any bad situation. So yeah, you can also use stop casting. It's just another feature I remembered. So say you're casting something, and then... Oh wait, stop casting was removed. God damn you, Blizzard, confusing me all the time. So yeah, basically that's pretty much all the basics of macros covered, I'd say. If I've missed anything out, let me know in the comments and I will make sure that you are informed of the latest macro developments. So yeah, any specific requests for macros, let me know, and I will either link you to someone else who's made one, or make you your very own awesome Nivaka macro. Hooray, lol. So yeah, I'm going to leave you here, guys, and I'll see you next time.